Good morning, and welcome into an RTIC Cooler Talk. Drew Doherty here with a good pal, DP Sidhu. Good to see you, DP, and we will take your questions. Send them in right now. We want to hear from you. We're going to go through as many as we can to talk about the Texans and the Bucks, Texans and the Titans, playoff scenarios, anything you want. I know a lot of you are going to ask about somebody in particular, and that's okay. Ask away. We'll try to give you the best answer that we can. How are you?
I'm great, Drew. We talk about that certain somebody every single week, and we probably will for the next few weeks or the foreseeable future.
And we're not talking about Santa Claus.
We are not talking about Santa Claus.
No.
Yeah, I bet you thought this was a prop. I'm actually drinking chai tea in this.
It's good stuff. Keeps it warm, keeps it cold. So, Texans and the Bucks this Saturday, not Sunday, Saturday at noon Central Time. It's on the NFL Network, but if you're in Houston, you can watch it on Fox 26. So
and you can
no
listen
sweat.
on Sports Radio 610.
And if you got the mobile app, check it out there too. Brian on Facebook, DP, he wants to know, can the Texans still get a bye? And yes, they can, although a lot of stuff has to happen. First and foremost, you got to win these final two games. So Texans need to win out. You also need the Patriots to lose out. Now they're playing the Bills, which could happen. That could be a loss. Bills are playing okay. And the Dolphins, that's tough. And the Dolphins are playing them up in Foxborough. So there's one thing that makes it tough. Then you need the Chiefs to lose one game in the final two. They got to go to Chicago. Chicago's around 500, so, hey, maybe they could lose there. They're also playing in Denver, I believe, at the end of the season. So, I don't know, maybe Drew Lock has some magic. You also need the Bills, in addition to beating the Patriots, you need the Bills to lose the final weekend against the Jets. So you need those things to happen if you want to get that bye.
The Bills and the Jets, that's interesting. Yeah, because you basically, what you're doing is it's like the Ravens, Patriots, Chiefs, Texans. So you got to leapfrog the Chiefs and the Patriots. The good thing is you've won the tiebreaker in the head-to-head between both of those teams. That's why it's possible. But, yeah, a lot of things have to go right to move up to that spot. But you know what? Hey, fingers crossed that it happened. It'd be kind of cool to have a
Let's
bye.
keep playing for that. You know, let's keep hoping that happens because that's what this team has wanted. They won a Super Bowl first of all, but a way to get to the Super Bowl is they really want to win their division and have a bye in the first round of the playoffs. So that's one of the big things. All right, Henry on Facebook, he's asking the question that so many of you are asking, justifiably so, because we're asking it here in the building. We want to know as well. Henry wants to know, what's the update on J.J. Watt? Well, he's still on injured reserve. There's still one more injured reserve spot where you can pull a guy off and put him on the roster. He's been asked about it. Hey, you going to play? And he's kind of not ruled it out. Bill O'Brien's been asked about it. Hey, is he going to play? Has not ruled it out. So all signs are pointing to a possible return at some point. DP, don't know when, but it's probably in January.
Yeah, I mean, you can't rule anything out with J.J. Watt. If there's any guy that you think, could this guy come back from pec surgery? Because it's actually very, very, very difficult to do that. You'd not bet against J.J. Watt. Bill O'Brien was asked about it, like you said, and he said, we'll see how it goes. So no one is saying no, J.J. Watt can't come back. But there's a lot that has to happen in order for that, for J.J. to be on the field, let's say, sometime in the postseason. He's got to clear his physical and come off injured reserve and show that he's 100% healthy. Then he's got to be able to do the things that he was able to do. Romeo Crennel talked about it. He said, JJ, for a guy coming off injured reserve, think about it like the start of the season if a guy has been rehabbing all offseason. It takes them a while to sort of ramp up to speed. So they got to kind of see where JJ's at as well. So, you don't even know what to expect if he does come back. I would imagine that you'd see a pretty good J.J. Watt, even if he's not 100% healthy. But until we fill that second roster spot with somebody off of injured reserve, that leaves the door wide open for J.J. Watt to return. But you know what? It's still we'll see how it goes, in the words of Bill O'Brien, until we know for sure. You
said one very important thing there. Well, you said many important things, but one of those things that stood out was if he's back, he's going to be effective. They're not going to bring him back if he's not effective. So if he's effective, that helps you out immensely. But another thing that helps out is him just being there causes opposing offenses to reallocate sources and blockers to him, which frees things up for other guys. So it'd be a massive win for the Texans if they were to get him back to the defense. Nakib on YouTube says, do you think Will Fuller will play this weekend? Yes. I mean, all signs point to yes. I haven't seen any reason he wouldn't. He practiced this week. They've got the Texans have the final practice today. Today's Thursday, but it's like a Friday of game week because teams leaving tomorrow for Tampa Bay. yeah, I'd expect Will Fuller to play, wouldn't you?
I don't see any reason why
You got
not.
to win. You need to win.
You got to win. And Sunday's game, the fact that he was able to stay in that whole game and he was, he didn't leave the game early or anything. That's usually when you worry that somebody's dealing with an injury. But even during the week, it's been a short week. They had a walk-through or a jog-through earlier in the week. And it's, it's not a super intense bunch of practices that's late in the season. So all the guys are limited in some form or another. But I mean, I think that it'd be nice to have Fuller play this weekend, and if you win the division, and let's say things don't pan out where you can leapfrog into another playoff spot, then maybe you have the luxury problem of guys get to get some rest in Week 17. They may not rest the whole game. They may rest part of it, but, hey, rest is rest at this point in the year, right?
Yeah. Romeo on Twitter has a very important question. What are the division clinching scenarios?
Yes.
We answered that first question off the top of the show here about all the bye and everything. Texans are not in the playoffs yet. There's a chance that they wouldn't even make the playoffs. If they win this weekend, it's over. They win the AFC South. They win the division. So you got to win first. Now, if Tennessee loses this weekend, you also win the division. But that's not till Sunday. They don't play till Sunday. So you want to win your game against the Tampa Bay Bucks, and the Bucks are pretty darn good. They're 7-7. They've won 4 in a row. They can light up the scoreboard. They got Shaq Barrett, who already has 16.5 sacks. So you got to win this Saturday.
They're red hot.
You want to win. You want to make sure your Christmas is merry with a win, but you want to make sure a lot of the pressure is off you for Week 17 if you're in one of those scenarios like you mentioned where a first-round bye is out of the question and seeding doesn't really matter.
I think there's another scenario, too. If the Texans lose and Tennessee wins, then Pittsburgh. It depends on what Pittsburgh does in that game because Pittsburgh and Tennessee are vying for that final spot as well. So you kind of want Pittsburgh to do a little bit better and keep Tennessee out of it because they've got the tiebreaker over Tennessee. But that's like a lot of things have to happen in order to clinch it that way. First things first, just win on Saturday. That's
all it is. Just win. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this Cooler Talk. We thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for those questions. They're great ones as always. DP, you excited about Christmas?
That just seems like a long time away because we have several days.
Would you ask Santa for Christmas?
I asked for, maybe a few more hours of sleep in the day and a deep run in the playoffs.
Okay.
I
asked DeAndre Hopkins what he wants under the Christmas tree, and he said, and this was before the Tennessee game, he said, just want a few L's, or excuse me, a few W's, want a few wins. He would never say
L's for the opposing team.
L's for the opposing. He said he just wants a few wins. And, you know what? We're going to sneak one in. JJ, I don't know if it's JJ Watt, but JJ on YouTube has this. Who of the Texans' Pro Bowl alternates do you think will make it? That's always tricky because it depends on who's out of the game because of injury or who's out of the game because of the Super Bowl, et cetera, et cetera. I do think I haven't looked and seen who the long snapper is. But that'll be the toughest one, I think, to leapfrog. If it's a long snapper who is not playing in the Super Bowl, that guy's probably not going to pull out of the game because that usually switches around to a new guy every single year.
Oh, because you're talking about John Weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got Whitney Merciless, you've got DJ Reader, you've got Zach Cunningham. Who am I forgetting? You've got one more because we've got like 5
Reader,
of them.
Cunningham. Oh, goodness. Nick Martin.
Okay, so yeah, you're right, and then and then also depends on guys that there's a lot of guys that play in a Pro Bowl one year, and then they're like, okay, I played it and I did my thing, check it off the list, and then they decide that they want to get some things done in the off season as far as maybe they're not injured, they just want to rehab and get some rest, so they may open up some spots too, but. I am covering the Pro Bowl, so I think the more the merrier. Last year was a lot of fun. We had Deshaun Watson, we had Lamar Miller, we had Bernard McKinney, and those guys, all 3 of them, first trip to the Pro Bowl. So, it was the first trip for me as well. So, a lot of fun to cover it. But hopefully, we're not even there. Hopefully, it's because we're playing the Super Bowl.
How great would that be? All right.
Fantastic.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas to you all. Thanks so much for watching and sending those questions like we mentioned before. Thanks to Amanda Caffey for writing them in and typing them in and helping coordinate the social media aspect of all this. And the other things she did that I didn't even mention because I don't know, as well as Tyler Marcotte, the guy in the sky, way up above us, managing the puppets that we can be sometimes, pushing the buttons and all that other stuff too. He's over there. He's not really up in the sky. So thanks to them. Thanks to you. Merry Christmas. See you later. Go Texans!